Okay, so let us continue with number 26. The question says, depressions between the ridges. So we have the choices, letter A, epidermis, letter B, dermis, letter C, ridges, and letter D, furrows. So the very key word to take note of in the question is the word depression. So this discusses a particular concept sa fingerprint na ridges and the furrows. Itong elevated portion, this one, this elevated, and then this one is the so-called depressed portion. Pag sinabing elevated, that refers to the ridges. And then pag sinabing depressed portion, that refers to the furrows. So therefore, our answer is letter D. So tanda natin sa fingerprint, baliktad yan sa pattern sa fingers. Baliktad siya, it is an impression, marka siya. So therefore, pagdating doon sa fingerprint card, ito siya, this will appear as black lines. Whereas this one will appear as white space. Bakit white space siya? Because if this finger is impressed into the surface, ang umabot ay nandito lang, ito lang sa ridges. Hindi makaabot to siya. Hindi makaabot ang depressed portions or yung tinatawag na furrows. Okay, let us continue with number 27. Fingerprints were used on clay tablets for business transactions. So this is a matter of history. So ancient Babylon, ancient China, 4th century Persia, or Nova Scotia. Our answer to this is a matter of history. So let us just answer this directly without need for further explanation. So the answer is letter A, ancient Babylon. So clay tablets. Okay, let us continue. By the way, sa China, ang tawag nila, ito naitanong sa board examination, ang tawag nila sa fingerprint ay wa-chi. So let us continue with number 28. Following are the essential elements of a loop. Essential elements of a loop. Except, ang hinahanap natin ay except. But let me first give you the memory aid. If you have watched the video, I am very sure you can answer this question correctly. But if you have not, just to get back on that particular concept, this is our memory aid. I want you to observe carefully. Merong isang instrument, in fact, that is a medical instrument, na it appears to be like a looping formation. This is a medical instrument. Para siyang headset. Ito ang tinatawag natin na stethoscope. Ang stethoscope, kung tingnan natin ang formation na to, ito ang importanteng gusto kong tumbukin dito, ang formation ng looping formation na parang loop, no? Ang stethoscope. Bakit natin binigyan ng memory aid with regard to that looping formation? Because itong instrument na to ay mainly the instruments or the instrument used by doctors. So para masabi natin na ang isang pattern ay loop, para matawag siyang loop, dapat ay we have the delta. And then, ang pangalawa ay tinatawag na ridge count. And then, ang pangatlo ay ang sufficient recurve. So, matawag natin na ang isang pattern ay looping formation if we have these three essential elements of a loop. Delta, ridge count, and then sufficient recurve. Our attachment for us to remember on this DRS is we attach this one to the medical instrument that we call a stethoscope being used by doctors. So, madaling matandaan, no? Delta, ridge count, and then sufficient recurve. Balikan natin ang question. We have sa S, we have D, and then we have R, ridge count. So, therefore, ang answer natin ay letter A. Although, people, don't get me wrong, meron talagang core naman sa loop. Pero we are talking here of essential. In other words, ang core ay given na yan. Nandiyan na talaga yan. That is already part of the loop. But when we talk of essential things that should be present, according to the FBI, this is taken from the book of the FBI, The Science of Fingerprints. According to the FBI, there are 3 essential elements for a pattern to be considered as a loop. There has to be delta, and then ridge count across a looping ridge, and then sufficient recurve. So, DRS. Okay, number 29. Following are the major types of fingerprint patterns, except, ito, napakasimple na tanong, pero I tell you, itong theme na to palaging tinatanong sa board examinations. That's very easy. So we have the first one, the arch, and then we have the loop, and then we have the whorl. Tinatanong din sa board exams, ang percentage distribution nito in the world's population based again in the book of the FBI. So sabi ng FBI, this appears in about I use the word about, meaning to say approximately. So, whichever will come near the 5%, that is for the arch. And then the loop, we have 65%. So, it could be 60. Basta malapit yan sa 65, then that is our answer. In fact, merong isang board question na ang nandun ay 60%. So, loop pa rin ang sagot natin dyan. Kahit na ang sabi ng FBI, 65%. Because we are talking of approximation. We are talking of range or estimation. No? So, we have whorl. So, that is 30%. Okay, number 30. For extension. Oh, sorry. Ang sagot natin dito, except ay letter B. So, letter B is our answer. So, let us go to number 30. For extension purposes, accidental whorl has a letter symbol. That's very basic. So, that is X. That is accidental. Continue with 31. Friction skin is formed during the fetal life. The location, appearance, and relationships of the features remain unchanged. This is the very key word. Unchanged throughout the person's lifetime, with the exception of permanent damage such as injuries that result in permanent scars. So, andyan na, no? That is remain unchanged. This is the very key word to remember. Our answer is permanent. So, that is one of the tenets or dogma of fingerprint identification. So, pag sinabing infallible, that is said to be accurate. So, ang fingerprint identification is said to be accurate. So, that is why it is reliable. It is reliable being accurate. And then, unique, that is no two persons have exactly the same fingerprints. So, that is unique. So, wala tayong concept sa PRC, pero although may mga libro na discussing about the concept of classifiability of fingerprints. Pero sa PRC syllabus natin, ang tatlo ay infallible, unique, at saka permanent lang.